Bogey on board side, shells! Double pulling out!
October 25th, 1944, 10:51 a.m. Off the coast of Samar, Philippines. The sea is too calm. A thin mist hangs over the water as escort carriers of the U.S. Navy drift in loose formation. Sailors move about casually, some sipping coffee, others scanning the horizon out of habit more than fear. The war, for this crew, has felt distant, routine, predictable. Then, someone hears it. Not the usual drone of aircraft engines. Something sharper, faster, screaming. A lookout freezes. His binoculars tremble slightly as he focuses on a single aircraft diving out of the clouds, too steep, too direct. No evasive movement, no hesitation. Bogey inbound. The alarm cuts through the deck like a blade. Men snap into motion. Anti-aircraft guns swing upward. Shells load. Commands are shouted over the growing roar of engines. But something is wrong. The plane doesn't pull up. It doesn't bank. It doesn't fire. It comes straight down. You can almost feel the air tighten, the collective realization spreading like electricity across the ship. This isn't an attack meant to damage. It's meant to destroy. He's not pulling out. The scream barely leaves the gunner's throat before impact. A blinding flash. Metal screams as the aircraft tears through the flight deck, exploding into fuel, fire, and shrapnel. The deck erupts. Flames claw upward. Bodies are thrown like ragdolls across burning steel. For a split second, there is silence. Then, chaos. Men are screaming. Alarm. The fires are still burning when the next wave arrives. Smoke drifts low across the water, turning the sky into a gray haze. Visibility drops. The horizon disappears. It feels like the world itself is closing in, and through that smoke, shadows move. More aircraft, bearing 090. The voice cracks over the radio. On the deck, gunners squint into the haze, fingers tight on their triggers. Every sound now feels like a threat. Every flicker in the sky could be another dive. Then they see them. Small silhouettes emerging from the clouds, descending fast. Too fast. Open fire! The sky erupts. Anti-aircraft guns thunder in unison. Shell casings rain across the deck. Tracer fire claws upward, tearing through the mist. One plane shudders mid-air hit and spirals off into the sea. A cheer almost rises, but it dies quickly because two more break through. The first one dives toward an escort carrier, its engine screaming like a living thing. You can almost see the pilot now, locked in, unwavering, flying straight into a wall of fire. Flak explodes around him. Still he comes. Closer, closer. At the last second, the plane tilts just enough to align perfectly with the flight deck. Impact. A violent eruption of flame and twisted metal. The deck splits open. Aircraft parked above ignite instantly, turning into secondary explosions that ripple across the ship. Within seconds, the carrier is no longer a ship. It's a burning platform. The second plane targets a destroyer. Fast, low. The third wave comes in lower, closer to the water, harder to see. By now, every man on every ship is already at his station. There is no calm left, no routine, only tension, stretched to its limit. Eyes scan constantly. Fingers hover over triggers. Muscles ache from hours of readiness. And still, it doesn't feel like enough. Low contact, port side. The warning comes too late. A kamikaze aircraft bursts through the smoke, skimming just above the waves. It's almost silent until the last second, its engine masked by the thunder of guns and explosions around it. Then it rises, fast, sudden, straight toward a carrier's flight deck. Fire, fire! Guns unleash everything. Tracers rip into the plane's fuselage. Pieces shear off. Flames begin to lick its wings. But the angle is perfect. Too perfect. The aircraft slams into the deck, loaded with fuel and explosives. The blast is catastrophic. A chain reaction ignites parked aircraft fully fueled, fully armed. One explosion feeds another. Firestorms roll across the deck in seconds, swallowing men, machines, everything. You can almost feel the heat from it. Even from another ship. Across the formation, sailors watch in horror. They've seen hits before. They've seen damage. But not like this. Not this fast. Not this total. Below deck on the stricken carrier, compartments fill with smoke. Emergency lights flicker red. The air grows thick. Hard to breathe. A damage control officer forces open a warped hatch. Move. The fourth wave doesn't wait. It overlaps. Before the fires from the last impacts are under control, the next attackers are already diving. There is no pause now. No breathing room. Only pressure. Multiple inbound, high and low. The sky is no longer a battlefield. It's a trap. Some aircraft come in steep from above, easy to spot, heavily targeted. Others slip in low, hidden by smoke and glare off the ocean. It's coordinated, deliberate, and devastatingly effective. On one carrier, a young radar operator stares at the screen, heart pounding, blips everywhere. Too many, too close, they're saturating us. His voice barely carries, because for the first time, the system itself is breaking down. Too many targets, too little time. On deck, the gunners don't even wait for clear identification anymore. Anything that moves, they fire. The air becomes a wall of steel and flame. Shells burst in overlapping explosions. The noise is constant, deafening, relentless. And still, planes get through. One kamikaze takes a direct hit mid-dive. Its wing shears off. The fuselage spins wildly. For a moment, it looks like it will crash harmlessly into the sea. But, at the last second, it corrects. Barely. Just enough. And slams into the edge of a flight deck. The explosion rips along the side, tearing open compartments below. Even broken. Even dying. It still hits. That's when it becomes undeniable. You don't need a perfect plane. You don't need a perfect pilot. You only need commitment. Night begins to fall over the Pacific. But the battle doesn't end. It just changes shape. The sky darkens into deep blue, then black. Fires still burn across the fleet, casting flickering orange light over the water. Smoke drifts low, glowing faintly like embers in the night. And in that darkness, engines, distant at first, then closer. Night contacts, inbound. The words send a chill through every man who hears them. Because daytime was terrifying enough, but night? Night means less visibility, slower reaction, less time. On deck, searchlights snap on beams, cutting through smoke and darkness. They sweep across the sky, searching, hunting. Then, one locks onto a shape, a single aircraft, coming in low. Open fire. Tracers light up the night, like streaks of fire. The sky becomes a chaotic web of glowing lines. The plane is hit, sparks burst from its engine. But just like before, it doesn't stop. It keeps coming. A shadow against the light. A silhouette of intent. Impact. The explosion flashes brighter than anything else on the horizon, briefly turning night into day. Then darkness rushes back in. And with it, the realization. This isn't something that ends when the sun goes down. This is something that continues, relentless, unstoppable. Hours pass, or maybe minutes. Time loses meaning out here. There is only the next alarm, the next engine, the next dive. By the time dawn begins to creep over the horizon, the sea tells the story. Smoke columns rise from multiple ships, some